Hi, everyone. I'm Congressman Jared Huffman. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. We wanted to have this special Facebook Live event because we are in the home stretch of the 2020 census. This is something we only do every 10 years. It is a big deal. In fact, I cannot emphasize enough how critical it is that in the days ahead, we do everything we can to get an accurate, complete count of all the residents in my congressional district. Now, this accurate count is necessary because this is how federal funds are distributed. It determines the allocation for local federal programs, but it does even more than that. It impacts redistricting for both federal districts and state government districts. And if you want more money invested in schools, if you want an urgent care or emergency room facility when you get sick someplace, or social services like unemployment, if you want all of that to be available to folks in our community, then completing this 2020 census is vital. Just a few top line numbers. The census is used to distribute over $1.5 trillion in federal funding across more than 300 federal programs. That's nationwide, from education to medical care to roads and transit. And if you don't believe me, or you still think that your participation maybe doesn't really matter, let me share some new information that might sway you. The House Oversight and Reform Committee recently completed a report for us that actually breaks down specific numbers on the impact of an undercount in individual congressional districts. So let's go to my congressional district, the 2nd Congressional District of California. This report shows that for every 1% undercount in the 2020 census, the residents of my district, your neighbors, will receive $183,000 less in federal funding for Title I schools. That is the equivalent of all the textbooks that 730 students would need in a school year. And that's for just a 1% undercount. That undercount would lead to $165,000 less in federal funding for job training centers and career counseling. So these are significant numbers. And again, that's just a 1% undercount. You think about where we are right now, we are teetering at only about a 66% completion rate on the census. So the costs of not getting to 100% are really astronomical. We have about 13,000 low-income students in my congressional district. And so you think about the missing Title I funding for them, that absolutely matters. We have 89,000 people of working age that live under the federal poverty level. And our district saw about 4.3 million in federal funding for worker assistance. So a census undercount really jeopardizes that kind of essential economic support. The new report also makes clear that a complete census count is essential for our district in other ways. So look, I want to just assure you that our community needs to have the resources to meet all of these different needs in the next decade. You know that. And that means every person in this district must be counted. So please, if you haven't done so already, I'm urging you to fill out your census form. Just go online at 2020census.gov, 2020census.gov, or you can call this phone number, 844-330-2020. And you could also fill out the form that you probably have received in the mail from the Census Bureau. This form is really easy to complete, by the way. It only has 12 questions. It does not ask anything about citizenship. Now, we had to take the Trump administration to court to make sure that it doesn't do that, but there is nothing in this process that asks about citizenship. So just to wrap up my part of this, and then I'm going to bring in a special guest, but this is our once in a decade chance to make sure we count everyone in this district, because that is going to shape our future. So please take a few minutes, complete the census, and check in with your friends and family to make sure that they are doing that too, so that we can all be counted. Now, I am pleased to be joined by someone who is on the front line of this census process and what it means for important rural communities in my district. Connie Stewart is the former director of the California Center for Rural Policy. And she is also lead on the Complete Count Committee for the census. So Connie, welcome to this Facebook Live event, and tell us why the census is such a big deal for the rural parts of my district.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Congressman. It's so good to see you again. And thank you for the opportunity to participate today in this. And, I work at Humboldt State University and College of the Redwoods, and they will both also be impacted as well as local schools if we don't get a complete count in our region. And so it's critical, and it's also critical for your election. Your district will be determined by the number of folks. And so geographically, we don't want you to have to represent 600,000 folks because only a few take the census. So, in order for doing that, but, for many of us in this community, you don't realize that the easiest way to donate every year to your state and local government and your school is to take the census. That is money that will be dedicated each year to our community. We're recovering from fire disasters. Disaster planning money is based on the number of folks in a community. So if you have experienced a disaster or you want to know how you can help folks, one of the easiest ways you can help folks recover from a disaster is to take the census. So if you haven't done it, it's really quick and easy to do. And there's so many, I know it's been a struggle this year. And for those of you who maybe took it early and are wondering whether it counted, you might have taken it before you actually got an invite, please take the time to take it again. They will only count you once, unlike an election.
We're not voting twice here.
Yes, you don't vote twice, but take the census twice if you're worried that you maybe weren't counted before COVID.
Yeah, and you won't be double counted. We're not encouraging any kind of gaming of the census. No. We're just trying to make extra sure everyone's counted.
Yes. And for some of us who live in the more remote areas of your district, we came out with a lot of promotion before we learned that you really did need your number in order to make sure you were counted. So that's why we've asked some of the remote people to take it again because they have thrown out folks who didn't take it with the code. So.
Yeah, well, let's talk about where we are in terms of that count. As of September 21st, so this would be 21st, it would be 2 days ago. The information I have says that in your home county of Humboldt, we are only at 61.5% completion. And we know that the Trump administration is trying to wrap this thing up by the end of this month. Yeah. So we're fighting with them about that. We think that's a terrible idea, especially with the pandemic, but there's a chance that this thing might close in a matter of days, 1 week from today, as a matter of fact, and we're only at 61.5% in Humboldt County. I'll give you some other numbers. Trinity County only at about 30%. Now there's some reasons for that we can talk about. It's not the fault of Trinity County residents entirely, but Mendocino County only 55%. We got work to do. Del Norte County, 61.1%. And then Sonoma County, 69.7%. Marin County, a little better, 75.6%. So paradoxically, the wealthiest county in my district is on track to secure the total amount of federal funding it's going to need. But the poorest counties are actually in jeopardy of undermining their own federal authority that they need even more critically than other parts of my district. Any thoughts about this?
Well, part of the problem is the communities that have postal service delivered to their door have an easier time taking the census. And some of the areas that are remote and don't have a door-to-door postal service struggle, because if some federal person didn't come out to their door and invite them to take the census, they have to work extra hard. And our Native American communities are in that boat as well. And so, the the census is a justice issue. It is a justice issue, and it's a political issue. It's been political since the time of Christ, if you recall. So
Well,
there's never,
wasn't there? The Roman census. That's right.
that's right. It's literally been with us since biblical times, and it's been a struggle. And it is really, being counted is really a justice issue in this community. Where resources go is based on you being counted. And so for our community that is undocumented and might be afraid, there is extra security, and your information will not be given to any governmental agency that could come and harm you. But you are a member of our community, and we want you to be counted. The census is about everyone, not just US citizens. So
Amen.
Please take it. I know there's been a lot of intimidation to try to get you not to, but this is the way we can get resources to the community members that are in need.
Yeah. I'm just worried about the disconnect here with the communities that most need federal resources having the lowest participation rates so far in the census. That would suggest that an already unjust situation could get worse if we don't really step it up and get folks counted in the next 7 days.
And that's rural communities all over the country are having this challenge too, as well. And in California, it's also, we won our congressional votes. And there are other red states that are doing a better job at counting than we are in California. And we could lose power if we don't get counted in California. So we need every person to take it. And for all of you who are under evacuation or at risk, hopefully you can take it at the evacuation center. Take it in the place that you think you'll be living in the future. So put that address in, even if something has happened to your house. And, my heart goes out. It's just crazy that in this time of, climate crisis, we're going to wrap this up in a few days.
No, it's crazy. We're not done fighting on that front. I mean, it's kind of bizarre that the administration would say because of the pandemic, we need to shorten the census because we can't get our field workers out to knock on doors. It actually argues for the opposite, for lengthening it, but it is politics at play. It is a desire to kind of rush this forward and do it while a certain guy is still in the White House. And, we think that the accuracy of the process really should be what drives it, not the occupant of the White House and the politics. But it does tell you that these numbers are important, or they wouldn't be playing politics like that with it, right? They want to be able to stack and rig the resources in ways that advantage them politically, that go to their friends and their regions. And so, if anything, it makes the case for why we got to make sure everyone here is counted. So let's see, what else? I think we're going to try to get some questions from folks if they're coming in on Facebook Live. So go ahead and type in your questions. And Jenny Calloway, my district director, is on this call, and she will shout them out to us if they're coming in. But that's kind of the main takeaway. I think I gave folks the website, 2020census.gov. Yep, that's easy to remember. They can call 844-330-2020. So those are two really easy ways to do it. 12 questions, takes maybe 4 minutes. I remember about a 4-minute process. I was really quite surprised and relieved at how quick it was. And your privacy is maintained. Go ahead, Jenny.
Yep, I have. You have a couple comments here. First of all, you've got to know that Nels Johnson still loves your beard.
Oh, thanks, Nels. I miss Nels used to write the fishing report in the Marin IJ, and I miss that. We don't get a good fishing column anymore.
Yeah, so he's just been watching the Facebook Live since the get-go and made that comment. But there is a little dialogue going around about the efficiency of the census and distrust of government. And so while some are saying, why should we trust the government? Others are commenting that Catherine points out that the census is not political, it's to help all the residents. And Dean Alper, who used to also be a census taker, says it really does take time. But there is this interplay between a suspicion of government and its efficiencies and the need to fill out this census. So maybe you guys want to respond to those comments.
Well, it's a bit of a paradox, right? If you think the government is inefficient and you don't trust it, your response to that shouldn't be to withhold the information that will get you your fair share of government resources. There's probably other ways to deal with government inefficiency and to build trust in the process than to actually hurt your own community even more. So I guess we can all stipulate that there's always room for improvement with government efficiency, and I'm happy to work on building trust, but we don't make that situation any better by contributing to an undercount that actually starves us of the federal money that we need. Connie, do you have any thoughts about that?
I would agree. And, there are a lot of things that are inefficient about government, but, one of the things that government does do efficiently is provide roads and provide housing and have bridges that go over rivers. And those things need to be maintained. And in order to maintain them, we need to bring back our fair share of money. And so the way you bring back fair share of money is you take the census. It's actually probably more efficient than paying taxes because a portion of that money comes to your community for the next 10 years, just based on the fact that you live here. That's the only, that's it. So you're bringing in that portion of money that is government money that should come to your community because you live here. And so that's the whole point of why we need everyone to take it, because otherwise we have you using resources that we're not able to maintain, that we have to keep up. And so that's when we start coming for more tax dollars, because we're not bringing in the money that we deserve.
Yeah.
Well, here's another question, Connie.
Okay.
So Deborah wants to know given the challenges of COVID, what are the new strategies that the Complete Count teams are using to reach out to people in our rural areas to get the message out?
Well, I have a really heartbreaking story of someone who was up in our in Happy Camp, up in Siskiyou County, and helping with the census, whose house burned down. And he went to the evacuation center and set up a census booth to allow all the Native folks who were at the evacuation center to do that. So we're trying to do a lot of stuff. We've been trying to reach people through social media. We've got kiosks set up in communities, and we're trying to plead, but it's really hard when you can't go door to door. And that's the struggle. That's part of the reason we're doing this Facebook Live today, to say, if you're on social media and you haven't taken it yet, you can log on to the website and use the same tool you're using to see us today to take
in the time it takes to skim your Twitter feed, you can actually contribute to an accurate count in the census and really serve your community. Let me just mention that my office, back to this trust issue for a minute. I guess some people may be concerned that the government is going to misuse this data or somehow use it to compromise your privacy and things like that. There are bedrock legal protections in place to prevent any of that from happening. And I promise you, as your representative in Congress, I would not allow it to happen on my watch, but it can't happen legally, and you really are protected against that kind of abuse. So please don't think that by participating, somehow you're going to have this information used against you. That's not possible. That will not and cannot happen. Even if you're an undocumented immigrant, it cannot be used against you. It will not be used against you. And I promise you that. But if there are technical issues, we've talked about people who might have had to evacuate because of fires. There may be other reasons why you're having difficulty. My office is happy to help you troubleshoot. So you should, you're here on my Facebook page. You should not hesitate to just contact one of my district offices, which are all identified on my website, which is linked right here on my Facebook page. And we will do what we can to help get it done. The local assistance centers that are set up in Sonoma County, because I know that we had hundreds of people that unfortunately lost their homes in a fire there. And I was glad to hear that happened in Happy Camp County. But these local assistance centers generally are a one-stop shop for any kind of problem you're having because of the need to evacuate and because of the loss of your home. And that includes, registering to vote and making sure you can participate in the census and getting your bank accounts squared away, anything like that. So your local assistance center, if you're in that situation, is going to be a great resource. And my office is there to help if there's something further that you need. Jenny, do we have any more questions?
No, we don't. And it's perfect timing because we're just out of time right now.
Okay, well, thank you, Everett. Thank you, Connie Stewart, for doing great work up in the North Coast to make sure that this census happens accurately. We got 7 days to get everybody counted. Thanks, everyone who joined us. Do everything you can. Take the census yourself. Ask everyone you see in the next 7 days if they've taken the census, and tell them 2020census.gov. It's real easy. Thanks for doing your part. Bye-bye.